Party's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall, and I guess you just rhyme with Bat Minute!
Hello, and welcome once again to Bat Minute Returns, the podcast where we gaze longingly through the empty alleyways of Tim Burton's 1992 Batman Returns movie, 1 minute at a time. I am one of the hosts, Niall McGowan.
And venturing down those creepy alleyways with Niall, it is I, John Parker.
And joining us for this, roller coaster minute. We have, of course, as per usual, a guest. Actually didn't say, Meredith, like, how do you want to be introduced? Like, what credits do you want to put on yourself before you're...
You can just say, I don't know, Meredith Woerner, entertainment reporter, nerd entertainment reporter is fine.
Okay.
Unless you need some more gravitas, but...
Well, what she said there. This is...
Just leave that bit in.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Great, perfect. Just that, no double takes, good. Perfect, let it roll. We'll do it live.
Hell yeah. Oh, we forgot to tell you this goes out live. This isn't recorded now.
Fantastic.
People in Brazil get up at like 3 a.m. to listen to this. It's...
We're huge in Brazil.
I think we have about 2 downloads in Brazil, I'll be honest. I looked at the stats. They weren't good in South America.
Hey, I'm ecstatic that we got 2.
We'll wait until this minute. I mean, hot cat snow action. So.
Oh, yeah. All Brazilians love that.
Love cats and snow.
Well, from what I know of Brazil, it's very warm, so they might be like, oh, we never even get to see snow. So, like, of course we love this.
Just painting with a broad brush over here. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, my knowledge of Brazil is Blanca from Street Fighter. He was from Brazil, and they had a football team that was very, very good until, like, one of the last World Cups where they lost, like, ridiculously, like, 9-0 or something like that. And then, like, that's my entire knowledge of Brazil, and the big Jesus statue and stuff too. But
and those little desserts that our friend Sophie makes.
Oh,
they're Brazilian.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those are lovely as well. But
I wish I could recall the name of them for the listeners, so you'll just have to imagine what they are.
So anyway, Brazil Minute. It's like, I'll be a downer show. Brazil Minute.
Hey, you could make that fun. There's fun stuff in the movie.
It's just like, it's okay, Jonathan Pryce, he ain't having a good time. But hey, let's have a good time in his honor or something.
I feel like an Adam West episode could have gone to Brazil. I feel like that's totally... I mean, they would have gone to a studio in California, but they could have... I feel like that's completely within the realm of that series.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the movie, he fights... It's the film, isn't it, where he fights off a shark while dangling from a helicopter? So there's weirder things than him going to Brazil.
Yeah. So the shark repellent is finally used, I believe, yeah.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, like, the bat characters going to exotic locales is actually part of my notes, so weirdly enough. But so, if we jump on in, we'll get to that eventually. There's this minute 120. I don't know why I said 120. 120 was the other way of saying that. And it begins, Bruce Wayne, he's walking into an alleyway. And at the end of this minute, you better believe he walked right out of that alleyway.
And he's a catnapper, not the sleepy kind.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So he's seen the silhouette of Catwoman, and like I think we talked about last minute. I prefer to think that he didn't really see Catwoman. Like it was it was an optical illusion. It was part of his psyche, a kind of longing that he wanted to see her. But where do you land with that, Meredith? Have you ever thought like, oh no, do you just accept it as face value, or would you like to think that it's more a deeper idea than that?
Since I support women, I like to believe that Catwoman is still alive. Just saying. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, I mean, it could be anything because the whole thing is he's always seeing things. That's totally Bruce Wayne's shtick. Like, is it real or is it in his head? I don't know. I've never actually thought about it not being real. I kind of like your idea that like maybe he's just wishful thinking that he doesn't have to be alone in the world with just Alfred.
Yeah.
I like to believe that she's still alive though, because Michelle Pfeiffer is the ultimate Catwoman, the best. I mean, she's my favorite Catwoman.
Yes.
I mean, like, they're totally different kinds of Catwomen all over. Or the kid's another, like maybe knocks her out of the running every once in a while. But I believe that she's still out there in the timeless snow globe that is, Tim Burton's Batman movies, like still doing the jumps and the flips.
Yeah,
I agree, but I am the same as Niall there. I think I would love it if you didn't know either way. It keeps it a bit mysterious, and maybe he saw her, maybe he didn't. And he's taking this cat with him as just a little trophy. It's the last thing he can have of Selina.
Yeah.
Or is it?
Well, that's the thing. Like, so if we go through it in chronological order, as it were, Bruce runs in, looks, there's nothing but bins. He didn't see anything. There's snowy bins in the alleyway. And then looks over to the other side. There's snowy bins. I really wish they had taken the opportunity for him to look over and to see, like, a homeless Knox rummaging through the bins.
Oh, no, don't be mean to Knox.
And he was just like, hey, wait a minute, you're Bruce Wayne, aren't you? You remember me, buddy? It's like, you gave me a grant one time. It's like, oh yeah, I did. What did you ever do with that money?
Oh no, that'd be heartbreaking. I grew to love Knox.
He's just like, oh, can I have another grant? He's like, Alfred, give Knox another grant. He's like, hey, old Knoxy's back in business, boys.
Okay, now I'm on board.
Yeah. I was a bit disturbed that my Knox impression kind of went into Yogi Bear territory there, but that'd be awesome if he was the Yogi Bear of Gotham City, going around and stealing picnic baskets. That's the next movie.
I think you'll find it's pronounced picnic.
Picnic Ben.
What I was going to say, picnic, please.
Get it right.
But tragically, there's just nobody there. And it's Bruce Wayne. It's like, the guy must really hate alleyways, because now he's got this, and he already hates alleyways because of his parents dying in one. So it's like,
I think it's bold that he even went into an alleyway. Like, he has like weird PTSD from all the stuff. Running in and out of dark alleyways feels like it would be something he wouldn't super be into. But
I want to see that in a future Batman story where he's got like a phobia of alleyways now. He can't go down them, even to pursue, fighting crime. If the criminal goes down an alley, he kind of has a seizure. He can't go in.
I feel like there was an animated episode about that. I don't remember, but I feel like there was one where he was like afraid of like some. I don't know. I don't want to speak extemporaneously because I'm not 100% sure. But yes, I feel like there was a cartoon. Someone remind me on Twitter if you can find it, because I know you guys love to remind people on Twitter of things.
We've got away with that, luckily, so far. Most people politely correct us.
I'm all about being corrected. I'd rather be right than wrong every time.
Oh yeah.
But that's the thing though. So nobody in the alleyway, but then Bruce looks down and there's a cat, and I guess we're supposed to take it that this cat is in fact Miss Kitty.
Oh right, I'm glad you brought that up. Right, because this is my note. It never dawned on me ever throughout my whole life. Watching this movie a million times, it never dawned on me. We're supposed to think that's Miss Kitty. I just thought, it's some cat, so he's taking it because it's a cat, like Catwoman.
It's kind of the filmmaker's fault though, because they should have given Miss Kitty like a distinctive collar.
Yeah,
or just something. Just like maybe get a cat that had like a weird eye or like a patch on it or something.
Yeah, like a white patch on its head or something. So you're like, oh, okay, that's that cat.
Yeah, but it's just like you could just walk away and be like, oh yeah, this Bruce Wayne picked up some random cat. But I guess
it's not Miss Kitty. What if it's just some street cat that he picked up?
Oh, that'd be great. It's the wrong cat.
Yeah, it's just like some rando cat that's like, whoa, 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 I was happy over there.
Well, to me as well, this confirms that it's Miss Kitty, and Miss Kitty is magical, right? Which goes against everything Niall believes. She doesn't believe it's magic.
Yeah.
But cats don't like being lifted and carried generally. It's not comforting to them. They kind of see it as aggressive usually. This cat doesn't mind. There's something special about this cat.
It's a movie cat.
Movie cat. If I picked my cat up, she would try and get out of my arms. And she loves me.
Where do you guys stand on the whole like Miss Kitty is magical? Because I think in the script, when Selina is thrust from her perch and falls and the cats revive her, I think it says like it blows cat breath into her like mouth, and like it's like a cat CPR.
Well, maybe I just don't want to believe it, because I've been staunchly saying since like since we recorded those episodes, that like I don't buy that Selina actually died. I know that's what they're indicating, that they're like, oh yeah, she's now like, she is a cat woman, and she literally has 9 lives and stuff like that. But I'm always like, well, why did she fall through the tarp things? And so like, it's to break her fall, so she doesn't literally just smash all over the floor. And then it's just like, oh shit, she fell through all those, bumped her head, and then she was revived by like, you know. Although I do know the scripts do specify that it is Miss Kitty is the first cat to come to her, which does have a mystical undertone, I guess. It's like, why was this one random cat, the one cat that she always hangs about with, the one to come to be first on the scene and stuff?
Well, and our listeners will know that I'm the opposite. I am firmly in the camp that believes she died and she's been resurrected via zombie magic.
Yeah, and like Max Schreck writing his poetry that night, like, I had a receptionist named Selina. She died. Chip said she was sleeping. He lied.
Honestly, I don't. I think it depends on the Catwoman, and I think in this Catwoman's case, I think it's magic. It's Tim Burton, and he lives in the world of magical realism, and like, there's just a little bit of, it's like just enough magic to get her back on her feet, but not to do anything more than that.
Yeah.
Everything else was within her. It's not like a spider bite where all of a sudden you're stronger, you have more muscle tone, etc. I think this is more like, you get to live again. What you do with that is up to you.
Yeah, and it's all, I mean, Catwoman is sort of something that it implies is maybe dormant within her already. It's there waiting to come out.
Right. And the whole 9 lives things is so great, and she plays with it so well throughout. I think she has, I mean, the script of this alone is so, it's so clever. I just rewatching it and revisiting just the quips. I mean, it is like the new Ocean's 8 like version quippy. Like, it's George Clooney quippy before being George Clooney the Batman. It was
Yeah, sadly that didn't cross over so well.
No, it did not, unfortunately. But like, what was it? Oh gosh, there's like a particular. Oh, where he's like, Batman comes to the Penguin. He's like, "What do you want?" And the Penguin's like, the direct approach, like something. I admire that in a man in a mask, something like that. It's like, it's so fast. It's just you miss so much of it because it's all flying at you so fast.
Yeah,
but Catwoman has like the best lines, I think, of this movie.
Yeah.
Wild statement from Meredith, but Catwoman lines of Batman Returns.
No, I think I agree. I mean, obviously the Penguin's got some of the memorable dirty jokes and things, but other than that, it's mostly, the ball's in Catwoman's court, I think.
I'm just imagining, though, Meredith's dream now is like a Batman movie written by Amy Sherman Palladino. It's just like, it's Gilmore Girls meets Batman together.
Why
at
not?
last.
I love it. It's so good. I would watch it. Maybe that'll be the new Robert Pattinson movie. It'll wind up on Palladino's desk.
Yeah. I just imagine, though, like all the banter in Wayne Manor of Bruce, the constant squabbling in the Batcave going back and forth.
It's the West Wing walk and talk, but through the Bat caves.
You'd have to have a Robin in this, I think, for that kind of banter.
Definitely. And Chris isn't really doing much lately, so he could totally come back for that role.
Is he doing anything? Not to belittle him. He's more successful than I am.
Of course. No. He had a show for a while. I think it was like, I don't know, CSI Hawaii or something like that.
One of those.
If you can get it, that's work for life. But I think he should come back. He still has his boyish good looks. He could totally be Boy Wonder.
But you're considering then, Meredith, that you believe that that this is magical then. So do you think that like Miss Kitty has approached Bruce Wayne deliberately? Has it got like could this movie actually end on a close up of Miss Kitty's eyes shifting from side to side, like she's up to something? Or
I mean, it could. I mean, that's something that could potentially happen, that she's still alive, or maybe it's like she's reincarnated into Miss Kitty.
Oh, whoa, that would be cool.
Or like her essence or something, whatever the cat breath. I mean, the cat breath is Halle Berry's cat, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Some sort of magical piece of her exists in that cat.
I think we could almost say that maybe Selina died and then Miss Kitty put her soul into Selina's body, and then the Catwoman character was a fusion of Selena Kyle and whatever entity dwells within Miss Kitty. And now that Selena's body has perished, theoretically, it's now back in. Or maybe you could almost go, because we see Selena's head pop up at the end, that maybe through whatever happened with Max Schreck, Selena's soul has gone into Miss Kitty, and Catwoman is now whatever was in Miss Kitty in its entirety, fully formed.
I love that. And then when Miss Kitty finds Halle Berry, she turns her into a different Catwoman.
Oh, there you go. This is
like a symbiote.
Yeah, it's the carrying of the Catwoman torch.
That would actually work. Why didn't they go with that?
We find out that the guy who actually made it was like, that was what I was going for. Was that not apparent?
That was the implication.
When I was like, you know what? Cat burglar, Catwoman. Also, magical realism that's inside an ancient cat that's, carried from one woman to the other throughout time and centuries. Exactly what I was going for.
Of course. Actually, that brings up a question I have here, because we're talking a lot about Catwoman, considering she's not in the minute. But where do you stand? Because we know you like Catwoman. Well, you like her playing Catwoman, but where do you stand on Catwoman as a whole? Like, because most of our listeners and most of our guests have been on our side, love the character, think she's very strong, very feminist, and she's kind of a hero in a way. Like, she goes too far, but she's got noble goals. But we've had a couple of guests also say the opposite. They weren't too keen on her.
Yeah. Some people said, overly sexualized. Some people have been like, well, she's a bit much in that she only talks about men. So, like, this is a Catwoman that wouldn't pass the Bechdel test, like that kind of thing. And some people just yearning for, like, I just want a Catwoman that, like, who's not intrinsically linked with it. I just want to get revenge on this one guy and stuff. Like, I would have rather had her be a free agent doing what Catwoman is like in the comics, who's just like this independent person who will screw over whoever she needs to screw over to get what she wants.
Well, I would say that I don't think that Catwoman's feminist weaknesses are necessarily inherent to Catwoman, the character they created. I think it's more just the world in which Tim Burton built, because all of the other women are like, what, the Miss Holiday Gotham or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
The lackeys from Penguin. I think there's a couple PR women who are, kind of not really very full-fleshed out characters. So I feel like she's kind of forced to live in a world where she only gets to talk to men because really the only interesting characters besides her are men in this, which is such a bummer because there's 100 possibilities for a lot of people. I mean, why couldn't Max be a woman? Why couldn't, Batman be a woman? Yes, I said it. But I definitely feel like I definitely enjoy Catwoman. I think she's one of those complicated anti-heroes that's just like, so that men normally get. And very rarely do we see women in roles where they're bad and good and bad and conflicted. Yeah. She gives her life for the cause, her own cause, which is revenge. And I think it's okay to be motivated by revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with everything she's been through, yeah.
Of course. But I definitely feel like, is she over-sexualized? Yeah, you could definitely say, but you could definitely say that this is playing to a particular genre of fan at the time. But I also feel like there's nothing wrong with being sexy. If Michelle Pfeiffer, the actress, felt empowered in the cat suit and didn't feel like she was being taken advantage of, like, then you know what? Go be Meow. Like, go embrace. So yeah, I mean, it's layered. I can't give a straight answer on that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, she does use the sexuality like as her weapon as well, which is good because she knows, people are going to find me sexy, so I'll take advantage of that to get what I want. Which is, why not?
I also think like the licking scene is really interesting because if it was just a normal kiss, then I would be like, she's totally playing a gross gender role. But the licking, it's so absurd. You're like, this woman is unbalanced. This is so fascinating. Like, what is she going to do next? Like, she just licked the hero's face. And some people might say it's sexual. I do not find it sexual at all. I find it I find it insane. Like, if anyone did that to you, you'd be like, why?
Yeah, none of us would find it sexy.
That's the thing, though, because the face licking scene we had on Brittany Simon, who was like very, very ensconced in the kink world, and she was like, it's hella sexy. Like, she was like so into it, where she's like, I love this character because she's so kinky and stuff.
It's quite powerful, I think. 'Cause, I don't know, a kiss might seem, even if she's the one doing it, it still might seem a little bit submissive, but that's That's very, I don't know, domineering.
Yeah.
That's a great point. That's an excellent point. I hadn't thought of it from that aspect. I'll have to go listen to that minute. That's a fabulous minute.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a great episode actually. Yeah. If I do say so myself.
What an exciting and insightful guest. Wow.
Yeah.
But that's cool. I never thought about it from that way. You guys just blew my mind wide open, like the whole Dom sub thing with this. I love it.
Yeah.
Layers upon layers.
She's weird. And I think it's okay. I think it's even it's better to have a character where people don't know where they fall on her. Like keeps it interesting.
Yeah. Although one thing, in not being sure on where to fall on a thing is like, if we may go back to Miss Kitty for a brief moment.
What?
It's because another aspect beyond the fact that like, oh, maybe this is some sort of mystical or weird thing with Miss Kitty and it's deliberately gone to Bruce. I was also thinking there's an opportunity to think maybe that if you do take it that Catwoman's still alive, this is like a John Wick situation where, at the beginning of John Wick, his wife dies and then he's sent a puppy from his wife saying like, don't go without love in your life. Take this animal and remember me through it and give it all your affection and stuff. And then this could be Catwoman has given Miss Kitty to Bruce, been like, oh, I'm out of here. I'm out E5000. But here's the cat to remember me by. And it's it's a parting gift. So he did see her, and then he went in, and then she's left this cat for him. Like, maybe that's it. And then you find the next movie, someone kills the cat, and it's Batman going on a kill crazy rampage. Which, to be fair, is what he's been doing the first two movies in this anyway.
Slaughtering everyone.
He's like, how can I top, friggin' throwing a guy with dynamite in his pants into a giant hole in the street? Like, it's...
Keanu Reeves would be a good Batman.
Yeah, he would, actually, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'd never thought about that, actually. Yeah, he would.
He does have that kind of, again, because he's in John Wick, he is kind of playing that, like, the brooding loner.
But with, like, a lot more guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least this Batman, when he kills people as well, it's in a light-hearted fashion. It's in an amusing way.
John, you used that line with the judge in the court, and you still got locked up for it.
But it's funny.
It was funny, yeah.
Because you don't know, Meredith, John's actually broadcasting live from a life sentence in prison for lightheartedly killing all these people.
Oh no. Dark twist in Bat Minute.
Yeah, this we do 1 minute about the movie, and then the next minute is sort of like serial, and then we go back to the movie again.
This is predominantly about criminal justice reform, so let's get started.
I do also, because we didn't mention in the various other minutes involving Miss Kitty earlier in the movie, that there's kind of precedent for this quote-unquote character, in that the Catwoman throughout history has had various pet cats and various like kind of head pet cats. Her best cat, if you will. In the 60s show, she had a cat called Hecate. Which is
Hecate.
Hecate, is that it? Okay.
Hecate, yeah, it's a god.
And that's the was throughout the 60s show. Hecate was revived for Batman, the Brave and the Bold, but updated to Catwoman's pet panther.
Oh,
so
whoa!
The Brave and the Bold's a pretty crazy show. Very.
She's just hanging out with a panther
with excellent music too.
Oh yeah. But it's there's I think Catwoman only really features in like 1 or 2 episodes because they try to look into more of the weirder Silver Age characters in Brave and the Bold. So like there's only like 2 episodes with the Joker. And
that's a good idea, I think.
Oh, it was great. Like a lot of stuff like, hey, we're entire seasons where he's hanging out with Blue Beetle and stuff. Where it's like you wouldn't see Blue Beetle any other time. Yeah, there was an episode where Batman and Robin were I think it was Robin. They were in the jungle fighting Catwoman. And Hecate was there, and then they were aided by Batman's old friend, Bat Ape, who was an ape that Bruce Wayne saved from poachers, and in tribute, it now fights crime in the jungle.
Oh my god.
In a Batman outfit.
As the listeners might know, I've just started getting into the comics again, and I was startled when I was reading Metal to see that there is a DC character who is basically an ape who's Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, yeah.
and he's called Detective Chimp. And I couldn't believe what I was reading in the best possible way.
Other cats, the Catwoman has loved and lost and whatnot in the past. Is in the Batman animated series. They introduced her cat Isis, who was there throughout the entire run, basically. Isis again linked with Egyptian gods and whatnot. Yeah. Because Isis became associated with Bastet, apparently as indicated by an inscription in the Temple of Edfu, which said that Isis is the soul of Bastet. So we're talking about cats switching souls and whatnot, and so it could be weirdly appropriate in this minute as well.
That's one of Lol, former guest, and my partner. It's one of her favorite gods, Bastet. It's because it is a cat.
Yeah. And you actually get if you get the Batman animated Catwoman figure, you get a little Isis with her. So I have that in my house as a little mini version of Isis running around. But Isis also features in Crypto the Superdog, the animated series. She was the arch nemesis of Crypto, Ace the Bat-Hound, and Streaky the Supercat. Which, that's a thing that happens in those shows. And you can also play as Isis in Injustice Gods Among Us during the Star Lab sequence. So
Wait, hang on. The first one?
That's what it says. Yeah, Injustice God Among Us. So
I've played that game and I don't remember.
But yeah, so that's the various places you can get Catwoman's other cats. And then Miss Kitty's just kind of her own entity. I guess maybe they could have called her Hecate, but maybe they just thought it's a bit of it doesn't fit in with all the other aesthetics to come up with a random Egyptian name in the middle of it all. But yeah.
I'm trying to think if Tim Burton really goes deep on lore and names. I feel like Miss Kitty is very simple and kind of, he likes to take cute things and make them kind of dark, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Feels like it tracks for Burton.
But yeah, because we're coming to so the end of us having to deal with Catwoman in this
having to.
I know. Wow, you're blessed to be dealt with Catwoman.
Well, us getting to talk about Catwoman in this franchise. Although, I mean, I'm pretty sure in our hiatus episodes, the first protocol was going to be that Halle Berry Catwoman movie, really. So we'll be talking about her a bunch again. But I just thought, as we're going out, should be made apparent that although we talked about that there was, of course, attempts to make a Catwoman movie straight after this that just didn't work out. While she was absent from cinemas in the 90s, the comic line of Catwoman was booming in response to this movie. They actually gave her, for the first time, her own title in 1993. And I'm going to assume it was because of the popularity of her character in Batman Returns. And that's a really great run. The Jim Ballant, mostly Chuck Dixon writing for him. That Catwoman run is fantastic because it's a really, really fun version of the character. Ooh. Where you get storylines like there's one called The Cat File, which is essentially Selena Kyle becomes Indiana Jones, becomes James Bond and stuff.
Oh, that's great. I was thinking more along the lines of she becomes Fox Mulder.
No, okay. Tragically not. But there's a whole plot line where she's abducted by a government agency, and they hire her to go and get an old relic from some island somewhere. So she skydives into the island, and there's a whole big thing of she has to sword fight a guy. She ends up almost getting married to a prince and stuff, and ends up she needs to track down this old Nazi that lives there. He's gonna help her do this and that and stuff. And there's a really amazing cover of it with her in the Catwoman outfit with a wedding dress on top of it, kind of standing defiantly with all these guys firing guns behind her and stuff. It's
awesome.
Yeah. And there was another one too. If you're just a fan of Selena looking into her inner psyche and stuff, they did an issue where she the Scarecrow was testing fear toxin, but he had a new brand that only worked on women. And so he's like, well, who's the most fearless woman I know? Who will be the one that I'll really get to test this on? Catwoman. Oh. And then at one point, she has a brief encounter with him. And then because Selena's like, yeah, I do need to kind of get over fears and stuff. I wonder if I can conquer that. She willingly injects herself with the fear toxin. another great shot of this like a beautiful picture by Jim Bell of just Catwoman, big smile on her face, just injecting the fear toxin into her arm and stuff. And the final issue of that runs is like this really crazy, like, you know, psychedelic, surrealist sort of vision of Selina's mind going through the fear toxin and stuff. And when she finds out that her biggest fear is fear of dependency and stuff. So,
that's emotional.
Yeah. And there's another great one too, where it was like she was hired by a movie producer to go, I think it was called Box Office Poison, and she has to go.
Wait, like Alex Robinson's.
Yeah,
book.
there you go. But she has to go and she's hired by like a sleazy Hollywood producer to steal a script for this blockbuster, so the guy can rip it off basically before it comes out. And she ends up going again to an island, and then having to fight like a big evil robot thing and rescue some kids. And then at the end, the script's destroyed, but in order for Selina to get her payday, she just goes and like writes a script herself, just any old tat, and hands that in, gets a big payday. And then apparently this movie makes like millions and millions of dollars, but she can't claim anything because she's like, well, that's my movie technically, but.
That just made me think of Blackadder, where they accidentally destroy the first ever dictionary and have to rewrite it.
Oh, yeah. Do you have any favorite Catwoman stories yourself, Meredith, that you can...
I mean, for me, it's hard. Like, it's so weird because I randomly just picked up, remember, I don't know if you ever read it, it was just the worst Catwoman run, The Kitten in a Cage.
No.
It's when she gets sent to jail, and it's like, she's like in like an all-women jail, and it just plays to all these like really horrible tropes, and it's terrible. And I had to like just be done with it. I had to like I couldn't even get through it. So it's funny that you mentioned Birds of Prey, because I was just like randomly like Googling Catwoman, and then I started watching the Brave and the Bold, the Birds of Prey song, where it's just, you know, the three women making fun of superheroes, like Superman. I loved it. It was so good. Yeah, she's had her bad spats in comics as well, unfortunately, as most of the characters have. But
every one of them.
Yes, everybody has the thing. You're like, ooh, really wish that didn't exist. Like when oh my gosh, didn't she thrown in jail for like the murders of 237 or like 38 people or something insane like that? It's which she didn't do. But yeah, I think my favorite Catwoman, it's hard to pick one. I mean, the animated Batman series that was a pretty dope Catwoman as well. Like just the costume was really sleek and chic, and they went back to the gray. Favorite Catwoman it's hard. I mean, I love Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. I love that she leans into the wild catness and the sexuality. I love that she leans in hard. But I'm trying to think who else. All the Catwomen are great. It's hard to rank them. I didn't love Anne Hathaway's Catwoman, that like her headband were her ears. I was like, just let her have ears. Like,
yeah.
I liked that bit. I thought it was funny because they went so far out of their way to make her, she's not like the other Catwomen you've seen, and then they put in that little bit, but she does have the ears. Kind of.
I was like, he's dressed like a bat, and he's dressed like a scarecrow. Like, let her be a cat.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's one of those things of like, oh, Joker permanent smile is scars on his cheek. That's clever. And then this is just like, no, she's like a normal woman in like an Emma Peel outfit. And then sometimes she flips this thing up and they look a bit like cat ears. It's like, just let her have the gimmick. Come on.
Oh, goodness. But I mean, and then of course, Julie Newmar and Eartha Kitt, they're just legends. I mean,
that's the thing though, because you got your finger on the pulse in Hollywood.
Oh, do I? I do. Definitely.
But so who would you, like, say you got Robert Pattinson's new Batman, there's rumors about the Catwoman might be in this new movie. Who would you put a word in for if you had sway in the Warner Brothers lot?
Ooh.
Zoe Kravitz. Definitely.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Zoe Kravitz is such an interesting powerhouse of like fury and acting. Ruth Negga as well. I think it's like there's a lot going on. Like she can do a lot, because for Catwoman you have to be able to do a lot with very little, like just your eyes almost. And I think that they both have like just amazing acting potential. I mean, it would be so great if we could get a Catwoman feature film. I don't know why we haven't. It's insane that we're getting. I mean, I'm very excited about Birds of Prey coming out next year. Like deeply excited, especially because of the male gaze versus female gaze that is every. I don't know if you saw that tweet going around. I think like Joanna Robinson from Vanity Fair might have done it. It was something like, it's hard to describe male gaze versus female gaze, but when you see it, you know it. And it's a picture of Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad and a picture of Harley Quinn's new outfit in Birds of Prey.
Oh, totally different. Yeah. I might actually like her in this new one. I couldn't stand her in the last one. It's not necessarily her fault. Probably the director's fault for filming her bending over every 2 seconds.
It's just, there's nothing, and it's just so, but because of, I remember I was working at the LA Times at the time, and I was like, we just need to write a Harley Quinn explainer really fast because people are going to be obsessed with her because comic book fans already are obsessed with her. Yeah. And they're like, really? I'm like, yes. And then of course it comes out and it's like all people are dressing up as, it's all people want to talk about for better or for worse. Mm-hmm. And it's just so fascinating that Harley Quinn has kind of been the Wonder Woman and Harley Quinn have really been like the lightning rods of superhero women right now in the superhero sphere of feature filmmaking. I wouldn't say as much television because Jessica Jones had a really good run, but she's now ending sadly. Yeah. But it's very DC. I mean, Captain Marvel made a ton of money, and kids love her and they're dressing up like her. But I mean, I think the Halloween costume not every year, but at least 2 years ago, the number one Halloween costume was Harley Quinn.
I still see it now, to be honest. I saw someone in a replica of her T-shirt just this weekend.
She's everywhere.
I would be thinking of that though, like it's because the way that they've already got like for Suicide Squad 2, like we got James Gunn because we just got the guy. We're essentially trying to make Guardians of the Galaxy the first time around, so we just got the guy who made Guardians of the Galaxy to make the second one for us. And then
might as well do it. Yeah,
and even with Justice League, it's just like, hey, why don't we get the guy who made the Avengers to come in and finish the thing for us? I don't know that ever be cheeky enough to do it, but like the fact that Kristen Ritter is available now, it's just like, she did Jessica Jones pretty well. She could be Catwoman. Like she could just do the job.
She really could. Yeah, that's a good point too. I mean, maybe something will come out of Birds of Prey with her or something because she hasn't been cast in that at all. But it could be kind of fun, like an allusion to her or something, because I can't imagine with this whole pivot DC has made towards making more female-empowered and fun films away from the darkness, which we love. Like the Batman Begins trilogy is an amazing look at like dark superhero noir stuff. But I'm excited, like this opens the door for a Catwoman. How it doesn't, like if they... I can't imagine it wouldn't. She's the most beloved and one of the more beloved and popular DC characters. How can they not make a Catwoman movie? I'm dying over here.
I think they're still to this day reeling from the last one. Unfortunately, they're scared to go there.
8 different Batmen. We have one different Catwoman that's like no one likes, and the Catwoman is dead because women can never fail. Sorry.
I think that is part of what it is. To be honest, I think you're on the right track. Sadly,
it's hard to get a second chance. Like women directors and stuff, they go to like Hollywood movie prison if they make one bad movie. Like the woman who directed Jane Austen's Book Club, like didn't work again. She wasn't a director for 10 years, and just because that movie didn't resonate. But she's bankable now. It's insane. But I definitely, Zoe Kravitz would be my Catwoman of choice. Speaking quickly and not giving it more thought, but that was my initial.
I did make because throughout the entire run we've been kind of talking about Catwoman casting loads, and it was only the other day that I made saw someone. I'm like, oh, it's like I'm making an official prediction, like not like who
official. Oh,
yeah, it's like not someone who I think would be good for the part, but looking at it, just weighing up the stats, I'm like, that's who it's going to be. I watched that movie, We Have Always Lived in the Castle with Alexandra Daddario. I was just looking at her and it's like, she's not superstar yet. She needs something. Margot Robbie, she needs something to push her over the edge. She looks like Selena in the comics, with the big black mane, the kind of milky white skin. She's got very striking cat-like eyes. And it's just the fact that she's athletic because she's in that Baywatch movie. She's svelte. And watching her in We Have Always Lived in the Castle, it's like, oh, she can actually properly act as well. She's a good actress. So I was just like, she ticks so many boxes that I can imagine this is the person they're going to be going like, yeah, this is the one. This is in a Mulholland Drive fashion, they're going to be like, this is the girl. So I'm putting down as my official prediction that it will be Alexandra Daddario. So, and then I could turn around now, and it's like, no, it's going to be Zoe Kravitz. It's like, oh, goddamn.
Well, she's gotten really close to playing. Oh, she's been in a lot of lists for different superhero casting, and she actually was the voice of the Wasp in some video game.
Oh.
Yeah, a while ago. But she's definitely. I mean, she's always on lists. I'm surprised she hasn't really tipped over. Because I guess it's because, like, what was that? The Percy Jackson films she was in? Those didn't really make as big of a splash as people want them to.
Forgot about
but yeah,
those.
I mean, she's definitely a powerful actress. But I'm trying to think who else, too. Because that's like, she's not really, like, a name brand. Like, people don't immediately know who she is unless you walk them through her stuff.
I think it's better to go with someone like that, to be honest. I get too distracted by the big names sometimes, which that's gonna happen to us in this series as we get to George Clooney, of course. Especially now in retrospect, he's an even bigger name now.
But it works for Christian Bale. Like who's bigger than Christian Bale, and he totally transformed into the character of Bruce Wayne. I prefer Christian Bale as pretending to be Bruce Wayne than any other of the characters that Christian Bale plays in the Batman movies.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh, when he's like, "It's my hotel now," like
Like,
wonderful. I like that he's like, "What do dicks do?"
Yeah, that's what's great. That it's not him coming out. It is literally a character.
So good.
But anyway, within the minute, so Bruce is walking.
Oh yeah, there's stuff happening.
Bruce walks out of that alleyway, and I love the look he gives. He looks at Alfred, and they're kind of taking him the cat. And Alfred doesn't look too happy because he's obviously just thinking, well, I know who's going to be taking care of that cat around the house. And it's not going to be Bruce Wayne.
Everything. It's going to pee on everything. It's going to pee on everything.
I do love the way he just takes it as well. Like, this is now his cat.
It could have been somebody else's.
It could have been. Yeah, he's not taking it to the vet. Well, I suppose they didn't have microchips then. But, still, he hasn't done any research. God damn it.
To be fair, classically, Bruce Wayne is a man who goes out and just takes in people that are just out by themselves. This is like a predecessor to Robin, basically. He's like, this cat was around, didn't have any parents. Oh, yeah, we have a cat now. This is like next movie. Hey, this kid's parents died. Guess he's ours now.
Hey, here's what I think. I think if Tim Burton had carried on and done the next one, because, he was very reluctant to put Robin in the film. He didn't want Robin in these movies. I think this was his compromise. He was like, well, this cat is Robin now. That's my Robin.
Oh, like having a big fight with the Riddler, and all of a sudden a cat in a little red outfit with a yellow cape just jumps out and starts scratching him on the face.
I've seen weirder things in comics.
But I also feel like within this minute, there's a moment where Michael Keaton picks up the cat and lovingly nuzzles it under his chin, and they're both covered in these perfect Hollywood movie snowflakes. That's a meme, right there. I don't know what it is, but it's a meme. If this came out now, that would be screen capped everywhere.
Get on it, people. Make it a meme.
That's so, we live in such an era of memes now that, I've basically seen Endgame about 5 times via memes now. Every scene has been memed in some way. And every time I'm like, this time travel theory does not hold up. No, I'm just kidding. But I definitely, this is a meme. This whole thing is just it's just too beautiful and perfect. I don't know. Michael Keaton holding this cat in the snow is my sexuality. That's all I'm going to say. It's my kink. Yeah. It is. I'm very into it. He's beautiful. And the snow's beautiful. And I love the whole, you'd think revisiting these dark, physically dark films, the Batman Returns one is the one it's easiest for me to return to because of the play of light throughout it, of the reflecting of all the white throughout it. It keeps it interesting and new and not some noir filter that was added on. Not that anyone else did that, but I'm just saying it stays the film while very, very dark. There's still a lot going on in every frame. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. The lighting is fantastic because it is really dark, but it's never hard to see it, if that makes sense. This is again not to bring up Game of Thrones again. Just This is how you do
this is
it.
how you shoot that. God damn it.
This is a movie that 97% of it takes place at night, but you can still make out everything that's going on.
Yep. And it's never that weird movie, like nighttime. You know, like when you see in films, people, they're in bed and it's meant to be like 2 a.m., but it's bright as anything. And it's like, this isn't 2 a.m. But this, it looks like the time it's supposed to be, but I can see the action.
I think it's like that old adage. I think I think this is where like the Lord of the Rings set, they were filming something in a cave. I assume it was a cave in Mordor. And Sean Astin was like, well, where's that light coming from? If we're in a cave, where's the light that they're using coming from? And they're like, the same place the music's coming from, Sean.
That's the best way of putting it. That's great.
But yeah, it's like, it's a film. It's not real.
I just imagine now, like, this really grim day for Sean Astin, though, like, where everyone on set was just, like, laughing at him. And he's walking back down Mount Doom, and everyone's going, like, na da 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 da.
Oh, no.
I'll go back to my trailer.
I don't know if that story is real. That's just one of those things that's just told from entertainment journalists to entertainment journalists. It's like originally, like, I don't know, random person it's like someone from Modern Family. I don't know. Who knows? I'm sure you guys have talked about this in the past, but you know that Neighbors, the movie Neighbors with Seth Rogen and Zac Efron, they're having this like bonding moment. He's like, "Who's your Batman is Christian Bale. My Batman is Michael Keaton. That's why we're different." I really think that's a true statement.
I think it is, yeah, because this is our Batman. Not just because we're covering it, but this is our guy.
Yeah.
Well, I get in a lot of arguments about Michael Keaton because he's my preferred Batman. But they're like, it's like, this guy's like 130 pounds. Like, there's no way he could do this. And I was like, all right, first up, it's a comic book movie, so relax. Second of all, it's like, that's the whole appeal. He looks like, you know, he's by day the weird playboy billionaire who, like, just looks ridiculous. But I just like the dad Batman. It's so 80s. It's so early 90s. The hair isn't perfect. The face isn't perfect. He's like a regular dude who gets to be Batman, who's just so charismatic and charming. Like, I don't know how.
I kind of had like when they were doing the casting calls and stuff, like before Robert Pattinson. And you know the way that they've essentially, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker seems to be like, it looks at least on the surface that like, well, people like that Heath Ledger Joker, so we're going to just kind of make him look like that.
Yeah.
And so that was the mentality there. But if they went through like, well, people really love that Michael Keaton Batman, but we can't just get him back. So let's cast the equivalent of Michael Keaton nowadays. And if they, like, people, there was a fuss made when Robert Pattinson was cast. But imagine if they turned around and were like, Bill Hader is playing Batman. And just to see what people would say. Because that would be the modern day equivalent. It's like, yeah, this guy's a comedian. He's kind of weird. He's not muscular. He's kind of fit, but he's not. Yeah. He's not buff or anything. he's just a kind of a weird choice to play the character, but he could totally do Batman as well.
I hadn't thought about the Bill Hader one, but here's the thing: they'd be like, "Well, Barry is," which Barry is a wonderful television show. If you guys haven't seen it, it's amazing. Oh, yeah. They'd be like, "Well, Barry is a comic genius. It's gold. Give him the mountain." But you make 4 vampire movies, and you're not allowed to do anything else again. Despite making some of the most exceptionally exciting indie films ever since then. And also, I would argue he's not terrible in Twilight.
Yeah. No, he's doing the best with what he's given, really.
Yes. Sexiest vampire, high school vampire that's stuck in a high school body forever. Like, it's cute. Good for you, buddy. You did it.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of wishing now, though, they've gone that Bill Hader route, and then they're just like, you know what? Stephen Root's playing Alfred as well. Listen, we're getting the whole gang back.
Hell yeah.
Stephen Root doing an English accent in the butler outfit.
Stephen Root deserves an Emmy for this season and just his life's work. I think like not enough attention is paid to Stephen Root. Coming out with a crazy stat, but that's what I think.
The thing is, he would be like, in a non-joking way, Stephen Root for the Penguin. There you go, right there. Just friggin' stick the cigarette holder in his mouth, put a top hat on him. Just let him go.
So you're going for like classic Penguin.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you can go either way with him, though, because you could play him in the sleazy Danny DeVito, mutated, weirdo, grim kind of Penguin. Or, Stephen Root can class it up a bit, too.
I could see that, yeah.
I'm down for Barry Batman.
Barry Batman. He's like, no, it's my name, Barry Batman.
Well, I have just recently started following Michelle Pfeiffer's Instagram account, and I cannot recommend it enough. Because because she whipped out the Catwoman whip. Whipped out, sorry. And then she also put out the mask and stuff. So it's like this amazing insight into like just her like odd life as being Michelle Pfeiffer. And she's also like launching a perfume company, and she'll like do videos where she's like, I'm layering different scents, and then she'll smell it and be like, wow. Like, I can't smell it. I love you. You're amazing. Never change. I think she's fantastic. Oh, that video. If you get that video on IG, it brings me so much joy. I hope it brings the same joy to you. It's wonderful. But yeah, she's good. So when she handled all those ridiculous questions, she at the like the Tribeca Film Festival like a year ago for the Scarface reunion, they're just like, oh, Al, you had to get into so much character and da 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 and your backstory, and then this actor, oh, all this stuff. And Michelle, you were so thin. How'd you stay so thin? She was just like, let me turn this whole thing around on you. She was great.
What an absurd question. Jesus.
It was really bad. It was not great. But thankfully, Michelle Pfeiffer is an ace and just kind of spun the whole thing around on the guy because she's an old pro.
Yeah,
she knows what to do. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm noted out for this minute. If you guys have anything else you want to bring up in particular?
No, I think I've gone through every note here. Yeah. I don't know how we got an hour out of this, but
that's insane. I'm very chatty. Please feel free to cut it way down.
No, this is our forte, going off topic. It's what we're known for. People love it or they hate it.
I think we started making because we were 3 days a week, and kind of the pitch became like, we're giving you the equivalent of 5 episodes a week, but it is in 3. That's how we justify the length of the episode.
It's justification. We will head off into the dark night. Meredith, would you like to tell our listeners where they can find you online, like on Twitter and whatnot?
Yeah, you can find me at MDELLW on Twitter. Please say hello. And let me know if there's a Super Friends episode I can't remember.
Yeah, if anyone does know, please tag us in the tweet as well. That'd be useful. If you do want to do that, we are at Bat Minute. And you can join us on Facebook at the Bat Minute Listeners Cave, which I'm sure you know by now. If not, where have you been? You're stupid. You're an idiot. Come on. Get on board with it. And review us on iTunes. That's always lovely jubbly. It finds us more listeners every time you do it. And Niall, edit this part out. Is this a Monday episode? Is it a Friday episode? I'm out of sync.
This is Friday.
Friday. So
yeah.
So join us next week for more Bat Minute returns. We will have minute 113. See you then.
Next time, holy headshots! A troglodytic gallant reunites with his gentleman's gentleman as Batman's return comes to an end. But while our moggy-toting masked man-at-arms moves into the dark, dark night, which purring predator's apex will come up to meet the light? Find out next week. Same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute!